Hi, and welcome to BSAD 111. My name is Mark Pogue. I'm the Executive Director of the Clifton Strengths Institute. I'm also your instructor. And so we're excited to have you part of 111, and we're also excited to have you part of the CBA if you're new to the college. BSAD 111 is designed to launch you into a successful career here at the university, and as well prepare you for life after college and helping you understand your own unique talents and strengths and how to apply those to be successful. So we're really excited about this class. This is redesigned for this spring, and so we're excited to be able to bring you this new version of 111 that has more of an emphasis on strengths-based development than it has in the past, and helping you connect your strengths to all those things that are important to you in terms of success in college. Just a little bit of background about myself, just so you'll know who your instructor is. Prior to joining the University of Nebraska in the summer of 2015, I had been employed by Gallup, and in fact I'm still connected with and am part-time employed by Gallup, and have been responsible mainly in my career with Gallup for developing programs for students, and in fact was a part of developing the Strengths Quest program, which is what you're going to participate in this first week of the course. In addition to that, I've also done consulting and presenting, facilitating for Fortune 500 companies that Gallup works with all across the country. And so I've had an opportunity to see strengths applied both in a college setting with college students and helping you understand your strengths within that context, but as well I've also been able to work with organizations that are applying strengths to get work done, and to help companies and organizations work better and more efficiently and become more profitable. So I think I bring a unique perspective in having experience both on the professional side as well as on the educational side. And I'm excited to work with you during this semester in BSAD 111. So to give you a little bit of an introduction to the Clifton Strengths Institute and the Strengths Lab, first of all, we're located on the second floor of the CBA, and we're right at the opposite end of the hallway of the dean's office. So we'd love to have you come by and visit at some point in time, and would encourage you to do that, just to come and introduce yourself to us, because we otherwise we might not have the opportunity to even know what you look like. So come by and say hi sometime during that first 8 weeks during the course, during the length of the course. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and launch into this introductory PowerPoint that'll set you up for not only your first week with 111, but also success in the class through the full course of our 8 weeks together. So looking forward to touching base with you online in the discussion boards, and would be happy to respond to any questions or concerns or needs that you have during the course. So again, welcome to BSAD 111. BSAD 111, this is week one, a strengths introduction. We're going to spend some time just introducing the syllabus and talking through just some of the administrative pieces to the course, and then a brief introduction to strengths to launch you into your first week here with 111. So I'll get started. I'm the instructor of record, Mark Pogue. I'm the executive director of the Clifton Strengths Lab. In addition, we also have some help from two graduate assistants, Ryan Patterson. He's in career services as well, so you might see him down in the career services office if you visit there. And then in addition to that, we also have Samantha Kennelly, and Samantha also doubles with some work down in the undergraduate programs office, so you might see her in terms of an advising capacity. In addition to that, we have an administrative coordinator, Barb Rolfs, and she's in CBA 201. You can ask any of us, come to us with any needs that you have, and feel free to email any of us with questions or concerns that you have about the course. So course description, what we want to do within the next 8 weeks is help you think about your strengths in the context of a strong start towards a great career and a great life. Those are the two really big objectives that we have for you in terms of 111. 2 points of emphasis that we're really going to focus on in terms of the course are one, strengths-based development. We're going to help you think about those innate qualities that you possess and how to apply those to be successful academically, and also to be learning from those those experiences of applying your strengths within the context of your academics, and be thinking about the implications that they have for your life after college in terms of your career and your life in general. We also want to help you develop a keen sense of self-awareness and think about that in terms of your academic success and career confidence moving forward. Course objectives, what you'll learn. So the emphasis of the course is really around developing your strengths and applying your strengths towards specific outcomes that include academics. We'll use strengths, and we'll use your college life as a kind of a laboratory for you to experiment with how you apply your strengths to be successful academically. And within that, we're going to be thinking about goal setting, productivity, study habits that you might need to develop that are specific to who you are and how you're going to be most successful as a student. We're also going to think about your strengths through the context of the major that you're selecting, and as well career awareness. And then in addition to that, we'll be thinking about your strengths in terms of managing your own engagement and personal well-being in college. And we'll be talking more about engagement and well-being as we move forward. But when you think about engagement, what it really is at its essence is the emotional energy that you have to get work done every day. So be thinking about your engagement right now in terms of what you're responsible for as a student. In addition to that, we'll be helping you think about goal setting, and two of the goals that we want you to think very seriously about during this 8-week course are establishing a network on campus. If you haven't already begun that in terms of your experience on campus, this is going to be something that we want to help you think about some goals that you might set to have a better, stronger, a broader network on campus of relationships with peers, staff, and faculty. And then in addition to that, we also want you to be thinking about goals that you might have for campus involvement. We know that both of these items, both the networking piece and the relationships, developing relationships on campus, as well as the involvement that you have in activities, statistically are related to some very strong correlations with people that are more engaged in their work and experience higher levels of well-being once they graduate in their overall life. So we'll talk more about that later, about that research, and you'll actually be participating in a research project that's going to involve you talking with somebody that really loves their work, loves their job, and really kind of investigating this whole idea of engagement and well-being within the context of work. Course requirements, you've got a book that you need to purchase. Actually, you don't need to purchase a book. You can just get a code, a Strengths Quest code. It's $9.99. So what a bargain in terms of materials that are required for the course. That's the only course requirement. And I'll just go to the Strengths Quest website really quickly just to give you a sense of where you need to go and how you can purchase the code and take StrengthsFinder. So obviously I've already registered and have my username and password. What you would do is you'd go in and you would click the purchase button and then buy the access code right down here. Once you have that access code, I think it's 15 digits, both letters and numbers. It's kind of hard to remember, so you might want to do some copying and pasting. But then once you've bought the code, you can go back and click the register button, paste that access code right there, and then continue with registration. And you're going to be asked a few demographic questions, and then you're going to take an assessment that takes approximately 30 to 45 minutes. You need to be in a place that's quiet without interruptions. So make sure the door's closed, or you found a place with a good internet connection that you can complete the assessment without being interrupted. Let's see, some things to think about in terms of taking StrengthsFinder, taking the actual StrengthsFinder instrument, which is in Strengths Quest. So there's two terms there, don't get confused. The website and the program that we've created for students is called Strengths Quest, but the actual assessment that you take is StrengthsFinder. If you've taken StrengthsFinder before, you don't have to purchase it again. You just need to be able to go back to the website where you took StrengthsFinder originally, and you'll need to be able to remember your your registration, your access, or your username and your password to log back in, because you'll need to print another report, another StrengthsFinder report. Okay, so when you're taking the assessment, something to be thinking about is that this assessment, StrengthsFinder, is designed to do one thing really well, and that's identify what's dominant for you. What are your dominant strengths? What are your innate qualities that are stronger than anything else that you possess? And so you need to think about that in terms of how you respond to the items. You'll be giving two opposing statements. One might be, I love to read books. The other one might be, I love to go to a party. And you need to choose between the two of those which one is most dominant for you, okay? And if you feel like you like to do both, that's great, but try to figure out which one you like to do even more. And then that's the direction that you need to head. That's the way you need to approach the assessment. And if you do that, most likely you're going to get back a result to the assessment. The top 5 strengths are going to really resonate with you as a result of that. So just keep those things in mind as you go back and take the assessment. I'm going to go back real quickly. Let's see here. I'm going to go back and sign in real quickly, just so once you've taken the assessment, then this website will be available to you, and these items will be available to you. And this is the page that you'll need to go to in order to print your report, and that's one of the assignments that you'll need to have completed. You'll need to print the PDF and upload the electronic version of the PDF to to Blackboard. So once you've taken the assessment, you'll notice that now my actual first name is James, and I go by my middle name Mark, so that's why that says that. But there's my 5 themes, so I know I've taken the assessment. And then what you'll need to do is you'll need to go down to the Strengths Insight Report. You can actually print either one of these. These are both great. One just has a little bit more material in it than the other. So, but essentially what we need you to do is to download this Strengths Insight Report. It takes a few minutes for it to come up, but there it is. And then you'll just save that file, and then you can just upload that to Blackboard. That's what you need to do to complete the assignment, and that's going to be due the first week of class, Friday at midnight. But you'll need to do it earlier than that, because there's some assignments that require you to have already completed the StrengthsFinder assessment before you complete some of these other assignments that you have during this first week, and I'll be sharing those with you here in just a minute. All right, so I'm going to go back down to the PowerPoint. Once you've completed StrengthsFinder and you have your results, then I would also encourage you to download the StrengthsFinder app on your phone. It's certainly going to be something that's useful for you when you're in your coaching meetings with your strengths coach a little bit later on in the course. But also we're going to be referencing these strengths over and over and over again throughout the course, and to have them accessible for you on your phone, it'll just make it a lot easier for you to pull those up. So you'll search StrengthsFinder on the App Store, either iOS or on Android, and the assessment or the app is available in both versions. And you'll be able to download it, and here's an example of what the screens look like. You'll be able to not only see your top 5 strengths, but you'll also be able to take a look at the definitions for the 5 themes that you have. Okay, everything else is going to be on Blackboard. So anything else that you need to know about the course, you'll be able to find on Blackboard. All right, real quickly. In terms of classroom conduct, academic integrity, we just expect that you would be professional and show respect in all aspects of how you interact with people during the course, whether it's your instructors or it's fellow students. Be honest, do original work, be polite with your emails, and everything will be just fine. First week responsibilities. You're going to have a discussion board that you'll need to respond to within Blackboard, and you're going to need to have your top 5 strengths. You'll need to have taken StrengthsFinder through StrengthsQuest prior to logging on to do the discussion board post. We want you to share in depth about one of your strengths that resonated with you and how you've used that strength to accomplish something recently. So think back in the last 48 hours or last 7 days about a success that you've had and how one of those strengths that you have in your top 5 contributed to that success. And then we'd also like for you to comment on at least 2 of your fellow students' posts, okay? So something positive or some kind of reflection, maybe an insight that you have in terms of some of the posts that your fellow students have posted. All right, you're watching the PowerPoint right now, so you're already on point for that. You're going to have to take a quiz that's, again, you're responsible for completing that by midnight, January 15th. Quiz course conduct expectations. There's also a quiz on the CBA student belief statement, ethics code. You need to completed that. Both of those you can retake as many times as you need to get a high enough score to pass. In addition to that, you have to complete the StrengthsFinder assessment. We've already walked through that, and then post that insight report, the PDF, the electronic version of the PDF to Blackboard. And then print that report. We'd like for you to print the actual report, the insight report, and then highlight phrases that most resonate with you for the 5 themes in your report. And that's something, again, that you're going to revisit with your strengths coach a little bit later on in the course. There's also a pre-course survey that you need to complete that'll probably take you about 10 minutes. All right, just a brief introduction to strengths and what we're going to be talking about and why it's so important. I'll start with this quote from Tom Rath, the author of StrengthsFinder 2.0. The key to human development is building on who you already are, and I would make that more personal for you and change it to say this: the key to your development is building on who you already are. So taking into consideration those qualities and those innate qualities that you possess that allow you to be successful, those are the ones you really want to focus on, as opposed to identifying weaknesses that you have and trying to compensate for those, trying to build those up. Oftentimes, what we find is that the energy that you commit to working on a weakness just doesn't have the same return on investment as working on innate positive qualities that you already possess. So for instance, I'm not a very disciplined person. Every effort that I've ever put into trying to be structured and ordered and really keep my calendar up to date, etc., those have usually have not been all that successful for me. So what I try to do is I try to minimize the impact that not being a disciplined person can have on my life, and I use my other strengths to achieve that. But I don't think I'm, at this point in my life that I'm going to become a really disciplined person. Instead, I'm going to use the strengths that I possess. Typically, it's activator, which means I like to start things. And so if I have to get things done, I'm more inclined to be energized around just starting it right now as opposed to scheduling it out during the week and trying to be structured and organized that way. So what we're really trying to say is that we're kind of putting our flag in the sand around the idea that you have a lot better opportunity to be successful in life if you focus on and build on and work through your strengths versus trying to identify what you're not good at and try to build that up. Typically what we find is if we spend a lot of energy and time working on our weaknesses, we just get marginally better. But when we spend that same amount of time and effort and energy on working on something that we're already good at, a strength that we possess, typically we get a much greater return on investment, exponential return on investment in terms of time and energy. So we're much better off focusing on our strengths than we are on our weaknesses. This was well said by Peter Drucker. He's known as the father of modern management science. He wrote and thought and did research on how to manage people in the most effective way. And for the better part of the last half of the 20th century. And so what we know is, and this is one of the things that he came up with, I think it's a quote that kind of encapsulates a lot of what we're trying to say. One should waste as little effort as possible on improving areas of low competence. It takes far more energy to improve from incompetence to mediocrity than it takes to improve from first-rate performance to excellence. We want to be excellent at what we do. We don't want to just be average. And so the best opportunity for us to get there is to work through our strengths. All right, and that pretty much finishes us up. We will be talking about, actually, no, I got just one more slide to share with you, and then we'll be finished. And so the one parting thought that I want to leave with you is that your key to success is really to fully understand how to apply your greatest talents and strengths in your everyday life. And there's so many great implications around that. And so what we know in terms of the research that we've done on people in the workplace, people in jobs and in organizations, is that people that work out of their strengths are 6 times more likely to be engaged in their work, have emotional energy to get great work done every day. They're 3 times more likely to have an excellent quality of life. They look forward to going to work. They're more likely to tell their friends they work for a great company. So the way they reflect on and think about the work that they do and the organization that they work for is really positive for them. Typically, people that work out of their strengths are more accurate. They just make less mistakes. They have more positive than negative interactions with coworkers. They work faster. And they have more positive, creative, and innovative moments. So your level of creativity goes up when you're working out of your strengths and you're thinking about things from the perspective of what you do best. People that work out of their strengths are also most likely to treat customers better, which is always good for business. And then in addition to that, they achieve more daily. So those are some things for us to be thinking about as we enter into this first week of the course. We've got a lot to do and a lot of things to be thinking about, especially as you're thinking about your strengths. We're excited for you to find out what your top 5 are and can't wait for you to share that with us as you upload that to Blackboard. If you have any other questions or concerns about that, you're having issues with getting on StrengthsFinder, you can always email us and we'll be happy to help you get on the site and to be able to take the assessment. So again, have a great week and thanks so much for your time, and we'll look forward to exploring strengths even more so in the coming weeks.